Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2. Allow me to introduce the rank 1 Terran, and I think at this point it could be argued, potentially the best player in the entire world. It's Team Liquid's Terran. It's Clem. On the opposite side, though, has slayed many top players before, and I don't think it'll stop here. We have for Dragon Kaiji Gaming, not the Protoss we deserve, but the one we need right now. It's a hero. Yes. A showdown between two of the strongest teams in StarCraft 2. Hero on Dragon Kaiji Gaming with players like Dark and Oliveira, and Clem on Team Liquid with players like Clem, which so far has seemed to be pretty much all they need. If you want to see Clem continue his rampage, continue tearing through essentially the entire world, or potentially someone to put a stop to it. Either way, it'd be awesome if you could like and subscribe. And Jimmy, what are we? 1,236 likes on this cast, on this video. And I'll cast another series. And I'll probably do it anyways. But thank you for watching. Hopefully you've had a good day so far. And hopefully these two top tier players are about to make it a little bit better. And that Cyclone is bearing down. Oh, the Marines got in the way. And I think that's the only thing that's really saving the Adept here today. As otherwise, well, it's not out of the woods yet. Well, it's made it past the more dangerous ones, and will make it home for now. Shield battery in production. But yeah, Clem is just looking near unstoppable lately. All the kind of little quirks and rough edges, I guess more impatience rather than mistakes in his gameplay, seem to have been ironed out. And now he's just got this implacable style with near perfect micro that, honestly, on frequent occasion, makes it look nearly impossible to deal with. He starts things off with the Cyclone push. So, how it works, we'll have 2 games for this team league. Each matchup has to, no matter if Clem or Hero wins the first one, we're racking up points for the teams. Depending on how it goes, we might see more matches. But either way, these top players facing off to see which team is better. So a key part is it is an all-kill format, which means you can have the same player potentially beat the entire enemy team, assuming they win all the games, which Clem has done multiple times. So we'll see how it goes. Hero, well, I think at this point, pretty much the entire world is an underdog against Clem. But Hero's pulled out, especially with only 2 games on the line, and only really needing to get 1. I don't think that's too tall an order for the Smiling Assassin. Here come some Phoenixes. It's going to be Phoenix Adept to start things off. The Adepts, something that can really lay into the Marines. The Phoenixes to exploit any Cyclones out of position, and if you see multiple Cyclones early, the chance of Widow Mines is significantly lower. So now the Marines are coming back in towards the main, but the Adepts are shady and after them. I don't know if he wanted to be all the way in the main. Maybe suffering from a little bit too much success there. The Adepts instead working on the natural. Well, Marines will find a couple of them. Only 2 SCVs down. Actually, only ends up killing 2 SCVs and 2 Marines, so not a full success there for Hero, though he gets about as much scouting info as you could ever want. You see, thing about getting that scouting info is if you lose too many units in the process, it doesn't matter if you know what's coming, it's still going to kill you anyways. Stim is about to complete. Combat Shield is a little bit further out right now for Clem, and that might be the difference between attacking and winning outright, and Hero being able to pick it apart. Combat Shield, 5 seconds. This timing is so sharp from Clem, and it very well could cut through. The Phoenixes have to come back. He needs everything here right now. There's a Robo Bay on the way. I'm sure he's chrono boosting that Robo itself. If he had the energy. He does have the... Why are you not chrono boosting the Robo, Hero? In spirit, at least. I guess confident enough. With 7 Phoenixes here, and if the Marines stim, they become that much more vulnerable to getting picked off individually. So, until the medevacs are out, the Phoenixes are going to be able to dictate the pace of the game. Oh, medevacs are out. Phoenixes looking for them, but Clem actually boosted them out of the starport to make sure the Phoenixes wouldn't have an opportunity. Because right now, Hero's spawn camping the barracks. Widowmine's about to pop out. I'm sure he's going to burrow him in a devious and diabolical location. Hero actually expanded to the north side, which Clem did not spot, which means there might be a little more time to set up there, even though it's usually a less defensible location. Simply, in order to defend it, you have to come down the ramp into what is usually a concave of Terran. So Hero relying more on it not being spotted until it's already set up, rather than the location itself. Still, some Widow Mines tucked in back there. Hero has to know. He saw the Widow Mines popping out originally. Those devious creatures. Forge on the way. Hero slowly but surely adding the probes on. No third command center out of Clem. Finished quite yet. He's got it about halfway done building. That means he will be significantly later on getting a third base. He still doesn't know about Hero's third. Which is, oh my god, that Phoenix. It's paying attention. It's very hard to do so and fling it around like that, but it's got a lot of experience. Hero flip-flops a lot. Oh. Widow Mines burrowed throughout. Clem is setting up for a push on a base that isn't there. I wonder if he'll scan for the other base on seeing... Yeah, he scans forward. There's a conspicuous lack of nexus here. I think at this point, Clem has to realize, yeah, it's somewhat implied. He's sending a Marine down, and the Marine actually will make it by the Colossi and spot this base. But Clem clearly taken off guard here. He's actually going to take a couple swipes from the extended thermal lance Colossi as well. And Hero managed to get away with it. Even this slight split from what you'd usually see seems to have thrown Clem off a bit. And now, maybe... Ooh, Widowmine does connect, triggers the barrier on the Immortal as well. The drop coming in. Hero, not quite in position to deal with it, but he does have a couple Stalkers, so that's going to be enough to block it out for now. Clem has landed his third. Hero. No. God, Hero. Oh, sometimes. Well, the Colossus... A scouting Colossus is an expensive creature to lose. So all the little advantages that Hero got, I think, by taking that third, keeping that information from Clem, I think most of them just crumbled alongside those spindly Colossus legs. Because clearly Hero... Oh, is he doing it? Okay, now he's rallied it to his other Colossus, so that's probably a safer bet. But he rallied it out like an observer. It happens to the best of us. And, well, Hero is pretty close to that, so... You see, whenever I just rally my Colossi or Warp Prisms, or don't have a unit in the wall, I just say I'm doing a Hero build. Which, sounds like you know what you're doing. But sometimes it's so hard to watch. Because mistakes like that, you simply cannot afford against Clem. Hero got a slight advantage, and I think he still does. In terms of unit composition, we haven't really had a fight. They've been dancing back and forth. Clem was setting up for an attack on a base that wasn't there. Shadow boxing with the army. Hero now finally filling in most of the rest of the tech tree here. He does have a Templar Archives. He's got +2 ground weapons and a second forge on the way. But Clem is adding on Vikings. He's adding on Ghosts. He's going to have the full package here. And once it's all come together, we'll see what Hero does to deal with it. Because I think it will be indeed on him. Any storm? No storm. Few charge lots. Actually in vision range of the spotter turret. Scan on the 4th base. So now Clem knows. Hero is, well, he does have that 4th. But it's not a huge obligation for Clem to get critical damage done. As Hero is going for the relatively low economy. He's got 69 probes, which he says is nice enough. So Clem, just sitting back. He's nearly at 200 supply. It has taken a while for both sides to get there, because they both... a battle could have broken out at almost any moment. So they've both been very focused on production, not really cutting any corners in order to get more economy too early. And that means it's taken a while to get to maxed out. But now that we're here, ooh, he sees a Marine Guardian shield, like the peacock feathers of the Protoss. Observers, zealots, spylons here. Hero has good vision. The tension is like they're both maxed out now. Clem does have a 4th command center landed. He's got, oh my god. Not sure what he killed there. I think it was one of his own units. At this point, the Cyclones are kind of obsolete. The rocks are taken down to give Hero less opportunity, but guess who's ready? Here comes the Protoss army. Widowmine manages to burrow, but the Colossi are chasing. EMP lands across the Phoenixes. Adept's getting caught on the side. The Vikings able to micro back. Targets down a Colossus. The stutter step on the Vikings. Beautiful. Well, not really step. Just the stuttering, really. In the skies here. What passes for them. And Hero loses several of his Phoenixes and a Colossus on the way out, but he's going to still press forward as he's got Clem bottled up here. Best opportunity to get some damage done, but more EMPs across the corner. There goes the shields. And the Archons looking a lot more vulnerable. Clem holds the line easily. Hero just walking right into it here. I think he lost his observers. Vikings trying to be picked off by the Stalkers, but now the Bioarmy moving forward. Marines file back. And now the Colossi waltzing into Viking range. And with only one Colossus left over, Hero's attack is looking somewhat impotent overall. The Widowmine gets some Stalkers. The Vikings still intact here. EMP's landing. The Medevac's healing. The Protoss army just unable to close the distance. There are no disruptors, no DTs, no double Ds of destruction. And without them, Clem is simply far too experienced at dealing with this. He faces max packs on a daily or multiple times daily basis. And this army in a straight-on collision is not going to be left standing. The Colossi working their way around. Hero doing a laudable job of keeping map control. He's actually kept his probe count so low that his army supply is comparable. He's now getting +3 ground weapons. The Stalker's still trying to move forward here. Anything he can pick off is good as long as it doesn't cost too many Stalkers. Obviously, Ghosts and Vikings are the highest priority. Continues to build Colossi. How many? Still only on 1 robo, but incrementing them out. And a bit of a sim forward. +3 ground weapons is completed. Just dancing around the center of the map. Here's maxed out yet again. EMPs throughout the choke point, though. Vikings on the back. Still struggling to move forward. Clem holding the line. He retreats up the ramp, files the Protoss army into a choke point of EMPs. And now the Archons are just taking the hits. Some more EMPs. A whole lot of Zealots and Ghosts are dying on the front lines here. The Stalkers blink forward. Hero unwilling to give up this position. The Ghosts are a few more EMPs intact there. Still the Viking count high enough to challenge the Colossi. And Hero continues building them, which is going to force Clem to continue having those Vikings and minimizing the chance of Liberators, at least so far. Warp Prism has literally 2 HP. An EMP and a strong current in the wrong direction. It's going to be enough to kill it, but for now, holding on. Clem has lost 3,000 less minerals and 2,000 less gas. This is not a particularly sustainable strategy here. Hero just keeps going right up against him and coming up short. The Stalker's looking for an opportunity. Scans across the outlying bases. A fusion core on the way. And almost certainly for those advanced ballistics liberators. I think Clem is anticipating a switch to Ruptors. But there are no Ruptors on the field. And only 1 robotics facility. Hero has 14 gateways. He's looking to batter him down in a war of attrition. Just mass Zealots. He's lost 58 so far, outnumbering either Marines or Marauders, and almost both combined. Hero's gonna go at him again. 5 command centers in production for Clem, so that tells you, well, he's just gonna let Hero. If Clem doesn't see an army he needs to worry about beating, he doesn't need to worry about this army. Then he's just gonna keep building up a bank. And the bank, in this case, is an investment. Those orbitals with scans allow you to secure your position, And mules whenever you're able to take a new base. Make sure you make the most of it. The Vikings moving back. Clem actually, yeah, he has a hotkey that overlaps. Is how he likes to control. We're on the Clem action cam right now. He spends more time looking at his opponent's army than his own because he trusts his own units to do what he wants. But he usually has overlapping hotkeys, so he can potentially control all at once, or things like just the Vikings. Alright. And indeed, Vikings microing back Bio Army as well. Trying to hit some EMPs. Indeed does so. Vikings find a good spot. Microing some of the Bio back, tanking the damage with the Marauders. And this is going to be another resounding victory for Clem. He's going to be forced back as another round of charge lots, probably taken aback somewhat by the sheer number of units Hero is willing to throw at him. Hero is playing like a Zerg right now, and his Zerg lots are warping in. The Widow Mines recharging. Colossus up towards the heavens here. Ghost Cloaking. Advanced Ballistics about to finish. With Advanced Ballistics completing, things are going to get even more difficult for Hero on the back line. Assuming Clem sends out those Liberators, and I assume he will. Kills one of the traitor Marines. He was given intel to the enemy. The Liberator just waltzes right by. But without a Stargate, it's going to be near or actually impossible to counter those Liberators. They will be able to deny potentially an entire base. So many Liberators here. And now a Venn diagram of freedom across the front line. Widowmines kill Zealots and Liberators alike. But coming up that ramp, the charge lots are pushed right back down. He's building 8 Liberators at a time. Disruptor gets the biggest hit I've ever seen Clem eat. But in typical fashion, it is because so much else was happening on the map. Yes, a massive Disruptor hit gives Hero an opportunity. But is it a false sense of confidence? As he only has 6 Stalkers and 2 Archons to fight into these ranged Liberators, who do already have +2 ship weapons. So, overall, he's making 7 Liberators at a time. He knows it's time for the Liberators to just try to annex the ground. And Hero is just not handling it. The Disruptors are landing, as this is a very challenging army to actually get all go in the right direction. The Liberators, the Vikings, the Ghosts, and the Bio all take slightly different micro, but Clem does manage it. And I mean, if one thing is important to keep it alive, the Liberators are definitely it. We've got 10, 11. And you simply can't fight less Stalkers than Liberators. +2 ship weapons is done, which allows you to 2-shot Stalkers, 1 shot after EMP. It just simply... You need a Stargate. It's not really optional, especially considering this scenario. Looks like he finally finished one. This Liberator racked up 11 kills, though. And now... there are 12 Oh my god. There are 7 orbitals. I don't know how many command centers. I think we're in double-digit command centers. The Liberator's sieging up. It's like a flashbang grenade of red. And then the scans just to top it off. Liberators covering all the edges here, giving Hero little to no opportunity. The Disruptors are wandering a little far forward, not finding the shot on the Ghost. And Clem just making it nearly a foregone conclusion. Wow, he just sat back. Kind of felt like watching a toddler, like, try to beat up their karate instructor. Like, charge lots, charge lots, charge lots. And then Clem, with the Advanced Ballistics Liberators, just held him at arm's reach until he tired himself out. Wow, this was more one-sided than a Mobius strip. At no point in this game did it seem like Clem was really breaking a sweat, whereas Hero was desperately trying to break anything that wasn't his own army. There's 16 Liberators on the field. Well, it's not over yet, but that's mostly up to Hero. As, yeah, well, there goes the warp in. The Bio Army will go down, but Disruptors, oh my god. Liberation is at hand, and Clem claims victory. in game 1. Wow. Huh. Well, that was certainly... I would say that was back and forth, but it was just Hero just... Let me in! And Clem. No. Wow. I didn't expect quite that. Hero never really... There was just nothing. No Warp Prism got in. No DTs slipped by. No Blink Stalkers. Clem just backhanded him. The Liberators felt like he, The Liberators felt like he wanted... He was done with the game now. Oh, it looks like Jimmy. Looks like we restarted the game at some point. Just to make sure everything was set up right. But now we're here. We made it. We don't wait for anyone here. Because, of course, with all the support of our great subscribers and those who smash the like button, we try to bring you the best games as soon as possible. Clem racks up a point for Team Liquid. Probe being annoying. Shout out to World Team League, as always, for putting on such great matches. And having, like, the idea of team leagues in StarCraft 2 has always been a bit of an odd one, considering it isn't a particularly team-based sport. Though I have my own thought. I think that was such a missed opportunity in StarCraft 2. The very, very simple reason you don't see more team games is they are not balanced at the highest level. They might feel like it, but then you put $10,000 on the line and players will show you how difficult some maps and strategies can be with units designed for 1v1. It's not as bad as it once was with maps that Blizzard decided were going to be in the map pool. Once the community got a hold of it, it got a little bit better, but generally 2v2 in my opinion. I think a game that does RTS team games right is Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition. Of course, because Age of Empires 2 is older than my average viewer here and far older than Clem. But, alright, if you know what a cassette tape is, thank you for watching. Make sure to smash that like button if you can squint and see it well enough. Sorry. How's the back pain? Remember downloading Oh, you mean a disc? You remember CD-ROM drives? Did your disc ever get too scratched? And you had to just, like... Did blowing on it ever work? You ever... I don't think it worked, but it felt better. Anyways, where were we? Oh, the 21st century. Alright. 2024. When did that happen? Raven on the way. Interference matrix upgrade in production. A quick one, but a bit of a gatekeeper in order to make sure that Raven isn't too strong. Hellions? What just happened there? What did the Hellions kill? Did he just cancel a shield battery? Is that what happened? Because that sometimes has a crazy animation. Oh, a sentry. Wow. Sentries die more dramatically than they live, usually. And the same is true here. Here comes Hero. This is just a 3-gate... That's it. That's it. End of sentence. There's just 3 gates. And he's walking across the map. I think Hero or Clem has already figured this one out, though, so... oh, multiple Spylons. Well, actually, just 1 Spylon and 1 probe to watch for the rest. But the Spylon... Now, I'm not sure whether this was supposed to be for warping in units at a proxy or to spot for units flying out on the normal path that you'll see things like a Raven or a medevac. But, por que no los dos? Why not both? I'm sure Hero will say it is whatever the smartest option was. But yeah, that last game... No. Okay. I've got strong feelings on Protoss players who decide to put all their tech in the corner of the main. Hero, I feel like, wins so many games despite his bad habits. as opposed to because of them. It's one of those kind of things. As the amount of games I've seen lost because either a Warp Prism or a Colossus or a Zealot was out of position or just wandering across when it should have been staying in a very key location, or because like a Forge and a Twilight Council or some other meaningful part of the production was already set up. This isn't the most egregious example of this, but putting all your buildings on one pylon that could potentially be depowered?
Who does that?
Unprecedented. I do like what Hero's done with his vision. Let's go to the Hero vision. He knows about the left side of the map. The right side of the map is the mineral DLC, where you literally have to mine through a mineral wall or use air units in order to get there. Hero spawns the Raven. It doesn't mean he's necessarily going to be able to stop it, but having the Stalkers in position is more than half the battle. Alright, Clem. He's got quite a bioforce. Does he have a third command center? He does not. Only halfway done here. A very... this has been quite a standard series at a Clem. He has not done anything particularly untoward. And he's found a lot of success so far, but... Warp Prism is headed in. A single tank is not going to be enough to defend the main. I think it was here for the Blink Stalkers. And Clem is actually coming back to defend. Caught off guard by the Prism with charge launch. Widowmine drop returns fire here. But don't worry, Hero built a cannon, which means he was able to kill the Widowmines before they fired and escape. Hallucinated Colossus at the front. 50-50 on whether that's intentional. Does he have a Robobay? He does not. So maybe he can convince him? We'll see. Obviously a scan would give it away. And so would the Raven. But if he just shows it to a Marine, maybe. Meanwhile, the Prism... A Viking is on patrol. But the Prism... Well, the Prism is spotted. Did Clem realize he spotted the Prism? Oh, no. Oh, this is going to be taken down. And with the Viking there. The Warp Prism is going to be heading back across the map. But Hero does have 4 bases. I was about to. Clem just now taking his 3rd. So, oh, well, this is awkward. He could use Interference Matrix on the Prism. Not that that would do necessarily much here. Multiple Ravens. Actually using 2 of them. And they have full energy right now. Is there a Templar Archives? No. So a lot of options for those Ravens for Clem. Charge Lock counterattack going to be attempted. Is there an armory done? No, which means the Widow Mines will be cleaned up after firing. Raven, anti-armor missile. Gotta be a little careful. Dorito dusts his own units to an extent. Gonna sit back. Interference Matrix on the Immortals is definitely an option here. Oh, picks up the tank in the medevac. Clem, fighting those clever tank positions. And more Widow Mines firing, but these ones, oh, not quite hitting the SCVs. Observer, a scan. Siege tank, another round of charge lots being warped in. So a lot of army supply here for Hero. And actually Clem getting a little bit of his caught, but who's flanking who is the eternal question. As the DPS of that bio army, especially if they're all able to focus their fire, is unrivaled by most single target armies. And the Raven's out in front. Force fields, but I'm not locked in here with you, says Clem. The auto turret's helping his own things out. Widow Mine's coming up to help and actually manages to hit an Immortal. Hero's starting to grind his way through, but the Vikings hit the deck. And Hero's down 50 supply, just like that. Again, he tried to pick a fight. on the open field. And again, Clem put him down. And now the probes are pulled. Now this feels a bit desperate. The Vikings in the air to deal with the Colossus. Thought about it on the ground for a bit. The probes may have made the difference. And in fact, Hero's still doing okay. The probes will keep him alive, but at what cost? He didn't lose too many of them. A single Colossus. The Widow Mines will fire. And, well, there goes the Colossus. He might get one more. No. Double the supply. And Clem just stutter-stepping his way through. Hero, no match. It's not enough. It's not going to get any easier from Hero. For Hero. He's got a +2. He's got maybe a Colossus coming out, but more probes are dying. The supply tells the story. It looks like Hero's going to have to rely on his teammates to try to take out Clem. Even picks up the Marauder. Are you kidding me right now? No, that's just, like, that's not even a standout performance. More probes, more mines. There's not nearly enough time on the Robo to be building observers, but he has to do it. He's locked out. You can't really sacrifice. He's sacrificing probes to the mine gods. We'll eventually grind through, but down goes the shield battery. Hero knows, oh no. The mines softening things up. Even ghosts have arrived. The zealots are dealt with. The mines are tanking damage while the Nexus dies. Goes for the pylon. Depowers the warp in. And Clem. With a comfortable 2 points here. Against Hero. It wasn't particularly close. Hero never... the closest he got to making Clem sweat was getting a warp prism in. But even then... it was a mild delay as opposed to a disastrous situation. It's just far too much. Clem is just too damn good. Like, you can point out whichever unit you want, but the simple fact is that Clem does not make mistakes with his micro. And when he does, like in the first game, it is because he's busy setting up something that's even worse. He might take a massive disruptor hit, but only when he's getting liberators into those unbeatable positions. So he's just doing more, and usually with less. And again, Heroes lost 6,000 more. The fact that this game is still going on is quite impressive. But the writing has been on the wall for a while. But neither player speaks English well, so it took a while to read it. Okay, that's not fair. Clem speaks perfect, probably better English than me. And Hero, I don't know, but I bet he sees enough to type GG. Well, that brings us back to the spawning pool for the last opportunity for Dragon Kaiji Gaming to take on Clem. A final challenger. A final boss. It's dark. Can he come in with the steel chair and the Nidus worm? Or will Clem put him down next to Hero? Starting on Equilibrium. Clem versus the world. Jimmy! Thank you. In the top left, tagging in for his exhausted Protoss teammate and sometimes nemesis. It's dark. Meanwhile, continuing on, we have Clem. Well, I don't know. I think it is all that training against Max Packs. Max Packs, Heroes kind of... It feels like the Indiana Jones meme. Hero sometimes. Where Hero's whipping his side blades around, doing crazy attacks and strategies. And then Clem pulls out his marine rifle and shoots him. That seems to be the, that was kind of the vibe I was getting from both those matches. Is just waiting out for Hero to make a mistake that he can exploit. Or he just runs out of patience. Dark, one of the most patient players in the game. A man who's willing to play more games, literally, than anyone else last year. Over 2,000 professional matches. And many, I bet a higher percentage of his matches went over 20 minutes than possibly any other player in the game. So not only does he play more, but he plays longer. So if you're wondering, I saw a post a couple weeks back comparing myself and Loco, who you may have heard of, one of the Dutch content creators in SC2. No, not that one. No, not that one either. Anyways. And the matchups we choose to cast. And apparently it came out that we cast more Zerg than anything else. The Zerg matchups. Specifically Zerg versus Protoss. Is it because we're Zerg biased? Now, for those who don't know, it's because we're Dark biased. Because... Okay. I was gonna make a whole point, but Clem is in here, microing 2 Hellions and a Reaper, and still getting 3 kills. Oh, come on. Would you die already? So, Dark played literally more games than anyone else last year in professional match. Apparently, just still didn't learn to stop Hellions. Now this is Clem. Okay. This is way too much damage for the trickle of Hellions. Okay, finally, can I finish my point now? Thank you. Thank you. There was a point. Don't do it, Clem. That's enough. That's it. I'm trying to speak here. There was a point where I got 24 replays from a week of ESL matches. 24 games. 20 of them featured Dark because he played and got to the finals of multiple ESL... So, if you're wondering if there's any sort of bias, it's for the final boss. And he makes such entertaining games, win or lose. And recently, everyone has been losing against Clem. None more notable than Dark, who fell to him in the DreamHack Atlanta finals. This time around now, the Zergling's enough to zone out the Hellions. Felt like I took 5 minutes to finish that point, which is not even possible, but Clem just doesn't stop. Even with, like, it really hasn't been much. 8 drones, 15 Zerglings for 5 Hellions. It's bad. It's not great, not terrible. It is at a key point. Like, losing... Oh. And the Banshees come in. He held on to multiple. So even though there are spores, Clem can just kill the queens, like... Oh, well. Hello? Anyone? Oh my god, he denied stim with half a second on the clock. Dark! Who did he pay off at the supply depot? There's nothing here. The Hellions are coming back. Dark gets in. Kills 14 SCVs and denies stim. Well, what's happening here? Where the Hellions? There's nothing left in the base. I'm so confused now. It looks like the depot was down and he caught him switching his add-ons. So literally a better than best case scenario. You could, like, that 2 unlikely things had to happen back to back for that much, especially stim. Losing stim? Well, I guess it doesn't matter that much because he's not going to be able to put together much of a push after losing those SCVs, but wow. So Dark strikes back with a dramatic vengeance. Both players getting a weird amount of damage done here. Blair is on the way, 7 minutes in. Quite late in the grand scheme of things, but considering the level of aggression, not too late. Double Liberator follow-up. Now that's a spicy one. Oh, the Banshees will cloak at the last moment. The Zerglings get the surround on the Hellions. Oh god, the Liberators. Dark reacts. The Banshees. Oh my god. Literally. One hit away, but the Liberator's finding some pretty disgusting locations to work with. He's, oh my god, he's outmaneuvering the Spore Crawler, because you can't kill 2 Liberators with 1 Spore, as the saying goes. Unless they decide to siege their Liberators up in exactly the same spot. He's not even bothering. Well, will he get away? Yep. The Zerglings. There is no stim, but does that matter? +1 melee is a lot worse than Dark was giving it credit for. I think Dark saw he had an upgrade advantage and knew that Clem didn't have stim, or at least suspected it. And he thought he might be able to get way more damage than he did. He's lost 100 Zerglings and killed 7 Marines. Now, many of those Zerglings were lost at earlier times, so just to be fair, but a bit disastrous here, to say the least. Well, the Marines just refuse, and the Widow Mines finish off the rest. Does he have an armory? Of course he does. There are no Overseers, so those mines will remain cloaked, while the Marines will continue their efforts. It's now 127 Zerglings to just 10 Marines. Gonna get a couple Overlords because why not? Getting close to supply blocking Dark, but he's killed oh my god. The Widowmine scampering away as the Spore Crawler repositioned in order to detect it. The Marines come up again, but wait, there's more! Join up alongside their friends. He's just gonna drop out. A beachhead here. He does not care. I don't know about this one. He's gonna leave some of them behind. That one was not as good. 147 to 18. Just keep it count here. Another set of Marines and a medevac. Widowmines will be dealt with, but the Queens are out of position now to protect the 4th. And he's trying to drag the positioning. Clem is retargeting those mines. And when he can't retarget... Oh, the positioning on the medevacs is a little off here. Baneling's rolling in. God. Trying to get the Overseers. But it feels like every one of these fights, Clem ends up 186 to 19 Marines. Now, I know the Marines aren't the only things killing Zerglings. Far from it. But that is a ratio that... If we were going cost for cost, it would be 2 to 1. Like, for 18 Marines, 36 Zerglings. It's a little higher than 2 to 1. The Marines stay alive. Let's just go to the Clem cam here for a moment. The epilepsy warning. Targeting down. Goes to the side. Oh, that's Dark. I was wondering why it looked like that. Meanwhile, just managing the fight. He sees the Zerglings coming up. Landing his base, sees the Broodling, back to the main, finds an opportunity to drop, gets out of position, starts the planetary, sets it up, another attack queued up.
This better be good.
I know, it better be good.
Additional supply research.
A little supply block, but at 180 supply, he's not going to have too many issues with that. Going to deal with the counterattack, pulling back when he knows he's somewhat vulnerable. Widow Mines will potentially burrow, picks up another drop mid-fight. Banshee's still going to work. Just stimming back, or stimming in, with another group of Marines, and in fact, losing a lot on all fronts is Clem. But Dark? We picked the only moment where Dark was able to get damage done. There's also burrowed Banes right next to the burrowed Zerglings, or the burrowed Widowmine here. We'll see if he finds an opportunity. Dark again with a massive counterattack, and Clem again with a significant supply lead. The Banshees came home and were repaired. 21 and 18 kills, and they're still going. He could target down Banelings. Really getting anything at this point is good. The Widowmines, traitors to both sides. Oh my god, almost obliterating the medevacs with Widowmines. Not quite getting it. The Banshees are still going to work. Over 50 kills combined. Clem losing more and more, but Dark is bleeding out. 10, 11 drones down. Terrible, terrible damage being dealt. But Clem is the one surviving. Another group of Widow Mines. Another medevac goes down with all hands to the Widow Mines. Clem has killed 5 medevacs, and Dark has killed 2 throughout this battle. More banelings rolling in. Dark, just try to throw it into chaos and maybe be able to pull it back from there. But the mines are scattered throughout the field. In the war of attrition. Clem is only at +2/+1. Dark does have 2/2 done. He also completed a hive, but got nothing off of it. He's at 53 drones, which is simply not enough to really maintain much more than unit production. He's really just hoping he can somehow catch Clem in a horrible fight and either translate that directly into a victory or a massive lead. But Clem still has plenty of medevacs, plenty of mines, and of course, plenty of Marines and Marauders. Finishes off a base, heads to the main. Zerglings and Banelings trying to go around, ideally before the planetary's done, trying to drag in even... It's another medevac with them. But a huge chunk of Zerglings go down with that ship. The Zergling's gonna play, like, he's getting more and more damage done. But look at the supply. Dark is so good at fighting until he can't fight anymore. Making a much closer game of it despite the supplies than Hero did. But he lost his spawning pool. That one's pretty important. When the only units you've been building the entire game are Lings and Banes. Oh god. Gee. Just one. You can claim the second in the following game, if you dare, Clem. Actually, what's the final ratio? 455 to 82. The kills stacked up over time, but... God. Clem looks like he's smurfing against everyone. This has been true, I think. I think he really found his confidence in the last month or two, really, especially with the DreamHack Atlanta win. It has unlocked this level of permanent confidence that we only saw shades of. Because I don't think the issue for Clem was that he wasn't good enough. It's just he couldn't show it on a consistent basis. And I mean, so many people might play way better on the ladder or with their friends, assuming they have them, in which case probably not big StarCraft either way. As opposed to, you know, in a high-pressure tournament. But it's just somehow he had already achieved best Terran in the world. Maru has had a rough year. Well, as of last year, after winning his 7th GSL. After that, it does feel like he did drop off sharply. But Clem has more than taken up the torch. Now he's shoving it in everyone's face and then transforming it into a Hellbat. And I'm sure he'll continue doing so. And as soon as you snuff out the torch, you look down and hear the sound of a Widow Mine recharging. Fade to black. Clem into the main with the Reaper. Dark going with the 3-hatch. So the 3-hatch gasless, I think Clem will know this as well, is more often than not a precursor to roaches. Now, when you go roaches, and it's not guaranteed, but when you go roaches, it's not so much about whether you're going roaches, but about how committed. Whether or not you're going to go for like a big hatch tech 40 drone queen all in, or whether you max out with 66 drones and smash it lair. And the difference is dramatic, because if you don't have enough early on as Terran, and you just think they're being greedy, you just die. Whereas, if you commit, build a bunker, focus on building defensive unit, well, things like siege tanks, and then they just macro up, you die later, because they can overwhelm before you get your production back online. But Clem... Oh my god, he almost got it. If he had gotten both queens with that grenade, he would have had the space to just snipe it off. Because, of course... Well, there's the Roach Warren. There's 3 gases. Dark already has 40 drones, so it looks like we're going to be very likely layer tech, and then Roach speed and, you know, holding down the R key for a while. Viking was the choice this time around. Actually, a bit of an odd timing. Dark building so many overlords. Gonna lose 1 to the Viking. The rest are getting tucked back in. Clears up some more creep. Dark actually building. Now, this doesn't mean he's committed to an all-in, but enough roaches to definitely make Clem think twice. There's no... Yeah, he's building drones behind. There's no Zergling speed. There's no lair behind. Be very odd to just build roaches at this stage. It is to cover for another big wave of drones. Couple engineering bays now for Clem. As, not surprising to see him heading towards Marines. Maybe some siege tanks. Probably some mines. Certainly some medevacs. And now the Hellions. Oh, the how does he do this? The roach, 4 roaches, and now there's nothing at the wall because he hit the exact timing. Again, that Clem is switching up his add-ons. So here come the Hellions, but not well known for their effectiveness against Roach Ravager. But everything combined here is drawing a lot of the attention. Dark splits the Liberator. It's no circle. I'm gonna keep him at bay. 8 SCVs down. 2 corrosive biles. I'm not locked in here with you, says Clem yet again. The Liberator cleans it up. And, well, the roaches are dealt with, but Dark has 67 drones behind. I think that was a tenuous success for Dark there, as he delayed some of the production. Clem wasn't building medevacs during that. He actually didn't start his upgrades till after he was cleaning it up. So Dark is getting now to 69 drones before Clem really can do anything. And he brought the Liberator back across the map. Clem was taking that very serious, so Dark created a lot of space for himself here. He's taking a 4th and 5th base simultaneously. Gotta be careful not to get too greedy. Clem, no medevac. Oh, reactor has to finish. Viking and Liberator looking for an opportunity. Spore Crawler in position, but Clem notices. Queen, politely yet firmly line up alongside the motorcade to protest units flying when they can't anymore. And it will be a high economy roach hammer here. Just mass roaches up against Clem, who has a very conventional siege tank, marine, and medevac style. Does he have any tech labs? He has just the 1 tech lab right now. So, not as many marauders. Dark double expanding. I'm sure fine with giving up a base. Obviously, he'd love to have it, but it was mostly there as potentially a target for Clem to keep him off, you know, anything else. The Liberator finds an opportunity. Gonna start picking away at the gas drones here, unfortunately. Medevacs on their way back. And the Liberator. Ooh, that's a pretty nasty spot there, too. Clem knows all the tricks. And Dark, though, knows how to max out and make roaches work. Of all the players who has a chance of killing Clem outright, I think Dark is at the forefront of the list with this sort of style. Here we go. Roach Ravager, siege tanks well spread here. Marines trying to hold their ground in the center of the map. And with it, well, he's stutter stepping out of the corrosive bile, dodges it. Widowmine helps soften things up. The siege tank's really starting to do a number. Drops the mules mid-fight. Some confidence there out of Clem, who dodges back for now. Blood from both sides running throughout the field. And Dark, even though he's been battered back, he hasn't been broken. The siege tanks were not in position to deal with this. The factory has to move back. The supply depot is drawing fire. The 4th command center is very confidently floating through this entire engagement. There's now 6 siege tanks on the field. Dark starts 2-2, but Clem is going to potentially have an advantage on his +2 weapons. Clem did not take critical damage, far from it. He's drawn the supply gap closer, and his army is just better in medium numbers. Roach Ravager, siege tank gets several shots off, enough for the Marines to potentially still engage. More siege tank production. He's building 2 at a time. I think this flexibility, this willingness to play the siege tank style if needed, just makes it so hard to fight. He's not reliant on the Widowmines exclusively here, but instead the tanks just pounding away from the back line. +1 mech weapons about to complete. Corrosive biles desperate here. Feels like Clem can stutter step in, out, and back in past the corrosive bile before they ever land. The Marines, well, without the siege tanks to back them up, not so tough. Especially coming out into a concave, but a double scan. Make sure Dark is still on lair tech. Clem knows the situation. If he just maxes out and does a nice slow tank push, it's going to be very hard for Dark to compete. There are no Vipers. There's not really any Zerglings or Banelings. No Infestors even at this stage. It's just Roaches and Ravagers, and those are known quantities. Quantities that Clem is an expert at reducing. And so far, Team Liquid's champion is looking like a shoo-in. Well, a wave of corrosive bile. He knocks out some medevacs, gets some tanks, and suddenly Clem, well, has he gone too far too fast? Dark's Ravagers clearing the field. And, well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. 172 to 150 supply. Dark, there's still 6 tanks on the field. He has not stopped tank production. Leads him into more tank shots. Dark knocks out a couple more siege tanks. He's killed 10 tanks and counting here. Corrosive bile, still a great option against all of this. All he needs is a critical mass of Ravagers still moving forward, splitting, more tanks going down. But the army's starting to thin out, and Dark's supply with it. Very importantly. Clem, he's managed to whittle this down. Dark can still continue reinforcing. There is a planetary on the low ground, so the 3rd base is still probably the best location to engage. He may go for the planetary, but fighting the planetary and the army at the same time, a recipe for disaster. But Clem has just held too strong. Most, if not all, Terrans would have crumbled. But where they falter, Clem stands tall. He knows exactly how much he needs, and he knows he has it. The supply now in his favor. He's working on 3-3. He just had to stay the course. Well, as long as the course is not with multiple medevacs and a corrosive bile. Just make it interesting. But Dark doesn't have enough. The Roaches, the Ravagers, pale in comparison to the fully operational WWW. And with that, Clem claims victory for his team over 2 of the best players, the best Korean Protoss and the best Korean Zerg, and convincing victories at that. Not a shadow of a doubt that Clem was the better player here today. Team Liquid should be proud, and I think we all should as well. Seeing Clem, essentially, at this point, arguably the best player in the world. What do you think? Either way, if you enjoyed, if I made your day a little bit better and you got the means of motivation, be awesome to check out Patreon. Make sure, of course, check out the World Team League as well. Thank you for watching. I hear liking and subscribing. It's still free, though. So, oh, and checking out Recommended and all of that. That's very helpful. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you next time. Good luck. Have fun. Oh, the second channel as well. Eventually we'll remember. Second channel. Oh, moving on to the next video. Stay chill.